The scourge of Alzheimer's disease has baffled researchers for decades. It wasn't until 1984 that researchers uncovered the framework of Alzheimer's. It was in this laboratory at the University of California at San Diego where Dr. George Glenner discovered the culprit, what he would later dub the beta amyloid protein.
A very special protein is circulating in the bloodstream, and the vessel walls are destroyed by this protein because it's not normally digested. It's digested to form silk fibers, and this causes a leaking of the wall of the blood vessel. As a consequence, more of the same protein, which we call the beta protein, leaks into the brain substance. Part of it is digested there, becomes silk fibers and plaques. And these plaques are the ones that destroy the nerve fibers that pass through.
Alzheimer's disease has no cure, day by day stripping its victims of their memory.
Your ability to remember where you put your keys, your ability to remember who your children are, your ability to remember where your clothes are. In the more serious stages of disease later on, how to manage a tray, manage a fork and a knife and a spoon in front of you. What we consider to be everyday simple tasks can be equivalent to asking somebody to build the next rocket to Mars.
Dr. Dominic Adario is a psychiatrist specializing in work with Alzheimer's patients and their families. He says one peculiar aspect of Alzheimer's is the way it destroys not just memory, but insight as well.
If a person's broken a bone, they've got bone pain. They're going to tell us their bone's broken. If a person's anemic and they're weak, they'll say, I have anemia. But in Alzheimer's, you'll have a person who's walking down the street, has gotten lost, doesn't know their name, used to be a PhD engineer, and if someone comes up to them and says, can I help you, is there anything wrong, they will not say, I have Alzheimer's disease. They will say, they're fine. So they don't complain about the disease, and as a result, people confuse what's going on in them.
And the varied behaviors common to Alzheimer's disease can be even more confusing to an untrained caregiver. Behaviors that include anxiety, outbursts, hoarding or rummaging, and delusions.
30% of Alzheimer's patients attempt to fill in the part that's missing with their own reality. And in our work, psychiatrists and psychologists call this delusions. Delusions are essentially things that haven't happened.
Alzheimer's patients are also prone to wandering and pacing, nighttime activities, and apathy. They forget how to toilet themselves, how to eat and groom themselves, and often suffer from depression.
Now, depression is a chemical condition. It can come on from stress, but in patients like Alzheimer's and Parkinson patients, it's biochemical primarily. In these particular patients, you see the typical symptoms of depression: lack of interest, social, emotional withdrawal, poor concentration,
and a painfully short attention span.
We've actually used stopwatches and timed patients in activities, and 2 minutes has been the longest we have ever been able to record of keeping their attention span.
Joy Glenner is co-founder and director of the George G. Glenner Alzheimer's Family Centers in San Diego, daycare centers for Alzheimer's patients.
At the time each patient is brought into our center, we do a 2 to 3 hour evaluation assessment.
Okay, I want you to read what this says, Stella, and then do it. It's going to give you a direction, okay?
What? Close your eyes.
Okay. Yes, excellent.
With many mental exams, conversations with whomever their caregiver is on their past professions, hobbies, likes, dislikes, and we have a pretty clear picture of what this persona is. And we try very hard to bring things to them in an individualized care plan that will be stimulating to their particular need.
Care plans should include activities that jog a patient's memory. pleasant memories that make their day enjoyable. Your patient's care plan might include managed activities like sing-alongs, make sure that care plan preserves the patient's dignity, is safe and supportive, and gives the patient a sense of independence.
They're not just being herded like cattle from one program or one task to another. That whatever it is that they can do to make a decision, to feel that they've got some control over their life, take advantage of that moment and encourage it.
The general environment that we have created, I think, is that we have become the surrogate family. Our staff members wear street clothes, and they're very affectionate with the patients, and they're very perceptive of really what's going on with them each day, and kind of gear each day's activities to what level they think their patient is that day. And if they're particularly perturbed and disturbed that day, then we have more quiet activities for them. Or as far as the toileting schedule, maybe we feel it has to be increased because they're agitated. It just takes a fine-tuning, really, of this person that you've grown to know.
What do you know, honey? Can't you talk?
Mary is anxious. She worries that family and friends might forget to pick her up at the end of her day at the Alzheimer's Family Center. What you're about to see is no reenactment. It's the real thing, and a textbook example for calming an anxious Alzheimer's patient.
You stay there, Mary. You stay there.
Yeah, but what's the matter with that cook?
Jay will be here. He called me just a little while ago. 35 minutes. He will be here, he told me, at 3:30. Jay Cook said he was coming to pick up Mary Black at 3:30. He had a meeting to attend, and as soon as he could get out of that, he was going to come pick you up. Okay?
Yes, it's okay. Here it's the right cook.
Oh, yes, ma'am, it's Jay Cook.
Well, why isn't he here now?
Well, he had to go to a meeting. He had to go to a meeting, but he will be here. He called to tell me he would be picking you up.
Our staff member looks Mary straight in the eye, speaks clearly in simple phrases with a friendly tone of voice, and then prompts Mary to talk about something else, something more pleasant.
You were a bookkeeper for many years, weren't you?
Yes.
And Jay knew you and he said you were excellent. Excellent bookkeeper.
She offers Mary a snack to ease her nervous stomach.
Okay, well, how about drinking a little bit of juice? Maybe that'll calm it.
I did.
You got a little more, and you've got some cookies there.
Where are the cookies?
Right here, Mary, right next to them. See, right here.
This little dab.
Those are little vanilla wafers.
A potential crisis averted. And this is just the sort of encounter that can escalate into a crisis, what professional caregivers call a catastrophic reaction, a reaction to anger, fear, or frustration. The patient may become verbally or physically aggressive, stubbornly resist you, may cry or break into hysterical laughter. Your best approach, if this should happen, is just how our staff member dealt with Mary, with patience, a soft, friendly voice, eye contact, speak in simple phrases, all the while reassuring your Alzheimer's patient.
A key word to maintaining people in the moderate to severe stage, which is what we are really dealing with here, is reassurance.
Reassure, reassess, and reinitiate.
If something doesn't work, step back and try something else. You cannot force these people to do something if they don't want to do it. If it doesn't work, step back and try a new track.
And I guess the first thing we ought to do is put the date down. So can you tell me what year it is?
No, because I don't pay no attention to the years.
At this daycare center, the staff also reassesses each patient at least every 6 months to plot the progress of the disease.
You didn't read the newspaper this morning, huh?
Yes, I do. I read it every morning.
Do you? Good for you. What month is
They
it?
bring it to my house.
Can you tell me what month it is?
This is not June. No, this is April.
Very good, very good. And do you remember what date it is?
No, is it 18th, 19th?
You're close, it's the 17th.
These reassessments can also reveal other problems common to Alzheimer's patients that may influence their behavior, like nutritional problems. Remember, eating without assistance becomes a complicated matter for the Alzheimer's patient. They may overeat or undereat, bolt their food, meaning they swallow it without chewing, and choking is a common problem. The Alzheimer's patient often doesn't drink enough water or other fluids, and they can develop problems urinating or bowel obstructions and be incapable of telling anyone there's a problem, all affecting behavior. Incontinence and fatigue also affect behavior, as can some medications or a lack of medications that can lead to fear and delusions.
Medicines that are used for paranoid feelings can be very helpful. The trick is to give patients like that, which are 30% of Alzheimer's patients, enough medicine so that they're not as fretful and fearful and paranoid about what's going on, but not so much medicine that they're having either neurological complications or they're in a chemical straitjacket where they're over-sedated.
In the last 10 minutes, we've covered major issues affecting behavior in Alzheimer's patients. The actual brain damage caused by the disease, the emotional and psychological implications and symptoms, how important it is to reassess an Alzheimer's patient to know where they are, how capable they are, how much attention they need. We've learned how to approach an anxious patient to avoid a catastrophic reaction, the importance of patience and flexibility, of reassurance and reassessment. In our next video module, creating an environment that preserves the dignity and abilities of Alzheimer's patients.
You ready to go home?
Yes.
You are?
I can't wait.
You can't wait?
Okay, you can't go before you give me a hug, Mary Black. Give me a hug now.